Hello and welcome to our first podcast of What's the Buzz, which is designed for you to tell you what's going on across our four churches. That is Barton, West Lidford, Kenton and also King Weston, which all form the Wheathill Benefice. So today, really great day. I'm the Barton Treasurer. I'm joined by our Vicar, Reverend Jane Durham. So Jane, great to see you. Thanks very much for joining. So tell me, when people meet you in the street, what should they call you? Do they call you the Reverend Jane or Jane? What do they call you?
Sometimes, hey you. No, my preference is just to be called Jane. Some people like calling me the Reverend Jane. That's partly to distinguish me from any other Jane who may be around. So Reverend Jane, or sometimes people use my title, but Jane is absolutely fine.
And then as the vicar, what is your role in the church? What is your role in the church and our churches?
So I have two roles. In our churches, I am meant to be half-time, acting as the priest, so the person who is overall responsible for organising worship and governance and leadership and pastoral care. And I also have a role across our deanery as a deanery mission enabler. But both of those are about helping people to encounter God in whatever situation they're in, be it the joy of a baptism or a wedding, the sorrow of a funeral or the interment of ashes, or just weekly encounters and worship.
Wow, well, you must be super busy because not only you've got four churches, but you've got a deanery, which is a lot bigger. Okay, now, Jane, look, we spoke about a year ago and you said to me that Advent was the beginning of the Christian church year. And it made me think, because we always sort of think the beginning of the new year is, January the 1st. So can you tell me why is the Christian church, why does it start on the first Sunday of Advent?
So Advent is the Christian year. In one sense, it tells the story of Jesus's life. So we need to have Christmas at the start of the year. And for complicated historical reasons, particularly due to the Northern Hemisphere, Christmas is celebrated in December. But in the church, in order to celebrate, you have a period of preparation. So before Easter, we have Lent, which we know about, which is 40 days. And before Advent, we have 4 Sundays of preparation. And there are various meanings to those 4 Sundays. When they first started doing it, it was full 40 days, and it's 4 because 4 is a significant number. But then it went down to 5 Sundays, and then it went down in the 11th century to 4 Sundays. So it's about getting ready to celebrate. The colour of Advent is purple, which is a sign of fasting and preparation. And I have, Charlie, the most amazing Advent stole that belonged to a good friend of mine.
That's amazing.
It's a mirror image. And this speaks of Christ's coming again and the joy of celebration and preparation.
And you would wear that on all of the 4 Sundays?
I will wear that on all 4 Sundays. In some churches, they wear rose one Sunday, but I wear that all 4 Sundays.
And then on Christmas Day also, or is that when Advent?
No, Christmas is white because it's a celebration. So we go into white for celebration, or gold.
Now, I think you kind of explained, you said, why is Advent important? Why is Advent important?
I think because it gives us time to think and prepare. And there are various different themes. So one theme is hope, peace, joy and love for the 4 Sundays. Another traditional theme from the 16th, 17th century is patriarchs, prophets, John the Baptist, Mary. Some people manage to link those. A more modern one is the second coming of Christ, as exemplified in my stole, the prophets, John the Baptist and Mary. So it's basically about having an opportunity to look at our lives and review our lives before we celebrate. It's the same idea as Easter, really. It's just slightly different. The problem we have is that because Christmas is a really big celebration everywhere, regardless of whether or not people believe that it's about the birth of Christ, Christmas sort of takes over Advent. So Advent sort of gets subsumed into Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. But it's a very important time of preparation and hope leading up to Christmas. So you are super busy, and I can see leading up to Christmas, the calendar's absolutely packed. Carols, Christmas craft events, Christingle, midnight in Bethlehem, and then of course Christmas. And of course, and there's all these Sundays in between. So Jane, tell me, when do you get a day off?
Well, most weeks I have Fridays off. And I'm quite strict about that. I tend not to answer my phone. I don't look at emails. And on those days, we do quite often do some of the shopping. We often eat lunch out, or like tomorrow, we have friends coming for a meal. And we really enjoy going for a walk if the weather's not too inclement. Sometimes we garden. It varies from week to week.
So look, the last question, what is your favourite Christmas carol?
When I thought about this, what first of all came to mind were my least favourite. Don't worry, I'm not going to share them with you. I struggle with Christmas carols that are too twee, partly because they're the ones that we sing and they give a sort of false impression of what this is all about. I also love singing theology. Theology is just words about God, singing my faith. So one of my favourite carols is one that most people probably won't know, which is Of the Father's Love Begotten. Look it up. And another one, which is very much an Advent carol, is O Come, Emmanuel, which speaks of our desire for Christ to come and sort out all the trouble and all the chaos of the world. But if you want a really traditional Christmas carol, then it's probably, although I wouldn't like to bet my life on it, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. But that might be as much because it's usually at the end of a service as anything else. So I'm singing it as I'm thinking, oh, good, I've done that service, I can breathe. So that might be why, but also there is quite a lot of good theology in Hark the Herald.
Great. Well, look, Jane, thank you so much indeed. This is the first of our podcasts. We intend to do this every month, hopefully, for the Christian Church calendar. And I think from me, and we are doing this in late November, we're on the eve of the first Sunday of Advent. So do I say happy Advent, happy Christmas? But thank you very much, and happy Advent, happy Christmas, and we'll see you again in the new year.